Today we're going to be working on two different things. The onboard air system for the Ranger, and I need to replace the upper and lower radiator hose. It's leaking real bad. So before we get to that, I've got to sweep. I'm just letting it run because the batteries were dead. I'm going to sweep, try to clean up a little bit, and then we'll get to the truck. Got the truck in the shop. I'm going to be I'm going to clean the truck up first. I've got it still attached from when I was doing some winching. I've got just a ton of shit in the cab, and I need to organize the bed a little bit. I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to start the radiator hoses, and then we will tackle the bullshit electrical that I did in high school, which sucks because now I have to deal with what I did in high school, but I need my air compressor, so it's gonna suck, but we're gonna do it. Okay, we've got the truck mostly cleaned out. I just had to get some shit out of the inside. We're going to start on our radiator hoses because it is leaking. You probably won't be able to see it because it's so low on coolant, but it is leaking from right in here, right where it goes into the thermostat housing. I tried to tighten the clamp, the hose is just rotten. Now, I also have this for my electric radiator fans. That's just the temperature sensor, but I'm going to be replacing the upper hose and the lower hose just because I haven't done them in a while. Luckily, this is a pretty easy job. Really, if you're lucky, all you need is a 5/16 nut driver and a drain pan, which, knowing coolant, it's not going to go in the drain pan. So 5/16 nut driver, drain pan, squeegee. Sometimes they get stuck, so you need a little pick. I need to get a set of hose picks, but this is all I got at the moment. But we'll get started on that. Alright, so the first step in draining the radiator, just take the radiator cap off. That just allows it to flow a little better. That's just the overflow, it won't do anything. Then we will come down here beneath the truck. Got our drain petcock. Sorry, that flashlight's a little too bright for the camera. But we've got our drain petcock here. Now I have to do this super carefully because I can't get my cast wet. I'm gonna set the camera up, and then we'll get to draining that. Oh man, that's tight. There we go. So luckily, I have a drain petcock, which helps a lot. Problem is they drain super slow, but kind of is what it is. You don't want to go too far out because it'll start coming out of here. You can see a little drip there, and that'll spray it. But we will let this drain, and then we can start removing the hoses. Okay, so while that's draining, I'm actually going to loosen all of the hose clamps on the lower and upper hoses, just so I can pull them off easier. Once it's drained, we're going to do that right now, and then we can start pulling the hoses off. Okay, got all four hose clamps loosened. Got 2 on the upper, 2 on the lower. Got all those loosened. Now it's just a waiting game for this to drain and not make a mess. And then I'm going to start with the upper radiator hose. Alright, it's almost 30 minutes later, and this is still draining, just super slow. We're about halfway down, but being halfway down, that means that this radiator hose is empty. So I'm going to take this sensor out, but just set that to the side, and then I can get this hose out. And I have to modify the new hose to fit this sensor block, but anybody else, just replace the hose. There's your radiator hose. So this one, the only modifications I've done to it, I just cut an 1.5 inch chunk out of the middle and hose clamp that on there. It's just to hold the temperature sensor for my radiator fans. But I'll get the new hose, we'll modify that and put it back together. Got my new hoses. This one, lower hose. This one's the upper hose. The first thing, always compare your hoses. Wow. Oh, optical illusion. All right. Just make sure they're the same. If you put it like that, it makes it look way longer. I don't know if you can see that, but put it on top, line them up. They're basically exactly the same. This one might be a little bit longer just because I didn't measure right. But we will get this block swapped over to this one here and then get it back on the truck. Okay, got my two pieces cut out, and I've got a little Sharpie mark here, and there on my sensor block. Now all we have to do is take our hose clamps. Got to get them on there. Stick that together and align it. Get that in position. I'm actually going to rotate that back a hair. Get that nice and move that over. I guess first step is to make sure it's square with your piece and inside of the bead. Then you can tighten it and move it over again, but it's inside of the bead. That's plenty tight. We'll move on to the next one. We'll line up our marks. Take it back apart because we'll put these both on the same direction. Those in place. That's my new radiator hose. Yep, good and tight. Good and tight. I'm going to take a pick and clean out these threads from the sealant. That looks pretty good. We'll get this back on the truck. Get this back on the truck. Super simple. Gotta remember tools though and parts. Just need my 5/16 nut driver and my hose clamps. Go ahead and loosen these up a little bit. Make sure they're on the right way. Let's get this down under. gonna start with the back one. Actually, I need to get these wires over the top first. You don't need to do that on a stock Ranger. Alright, now that that's against those little stops, feel around it, make sure it's seated. Sure that's good. And tighten these guys down. Well, wasn't that important. Let this guy move back a hair. Tighten this guy up the rest of the way. Doesn't have to be super tight, but you want it to be pretty snug. We'll bend that down in a second. I don't like them when they stick up like that. I'll also take apparently unstick that one. I'll take my watch off. I gotta loosen that one up here. Just a hair too much. Perfect. Hold it in place, feel around, make sure we're on our where we need to be. Feels good. Tighten it down the rest of the way. Feels pretty good. Now we need to deal with this issue. I don't know if you can see it from far away, but the interior of this sensor has come off, which sucks. So we're going to try and fix that. I am going to put this in first because I think it'll be a little bit easier to fix when it's in position. So I'm going to get some Teflon tape, put it around this, it'll tighten it down. Okay, got some Teflon. I'll stick that down in there. Can't get it started. There we go. Now that is a 14mm ratchet. Or wrench, depending on what you have. Okay, that should be good enough on the tightness scale there. I mean, technically that would stay, but I'm going to try and secure it with something. If nothing else works, I'll just put a zip tie there. Because why not? I'm zip tie certified. That's how this truck's held together. Alright, I've just got some basically super glue. I'm just going to put a little dab on the bottom here. Stick that in there. It should adhere up top as well. We're going to let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes and we'll see if it adhered. Alright, you can see the petcock is done, well, mostly done draining. It's not completely empty because the lower hose is actually lower than the petcock, so it might make a little bit of a mess, but we're going to go ahead and close this guy up. Make sure it's good and tight, and we're going to move over here and pull this lower hose off. So I'm going to set you guys back up. Oh. Might get lucky. So all this coolant actually looks pretty good. So now we're getting all the coolant out of the motor as well. I can feel it glugging in the hose. Aww. Gotta save that. Alright, that should be pretty much fully drained now. Pull that back up. We can pull it off of its spot. Ow! Pull it off down here. And then go compare it to our new one. Alright. Once again, we really don't need this. I don't know what it's for. I'm missing it on that one. We're gonna take a look at this guy here. That looks to be pretty much exactly the same. Shouldn't need to trim this one. I might end up having to take a 1/4 inch off one of the ends, but looks to be about exactly the same. I don't know how well you can see that, but to get this back on, it's obviously exactly reverse of getting it off. Let's see, put that on there. We're going to put, you always want to look at your hose clamps to make sure they're going to go on the easiest way for you to tighten them. You're going to feed it up through there. Push it on. A little wiggle. I don't think my hose clamp's quite big enough, so we're just going to loosen it up a hair, just make our lives easier. Push that guy on there, make sure it's fully seated. Yep. We're not gonna then get this guy on here. get that onto the radiator. Also making sure that it is fully seated. Then I had to twist that quite a bit, so we're going to rotate that so there's no kinks. Make sure both are still fully on there. And then we can tighten down our hose clamps. I have to do that one from the top. I'm gonna focus on. Oh, shit. My bad. Hopefully you can still kind of see. Really, I should be wearing safety glasses, but safety squints work just as well. They don't, actually. I really should be wearing glasses under here. Get that. Get this guy nice and tight. We'll slide our upper hose clamp to where we need it. Then we're going to tighten that one from the top because it is much easier from up there. Okay. Get a little extra light down there. It's also not quite big enough to go. Loosen that up. See if we can. Oh, nope. All right. Get that in position. Reach down in there. Knock it out of position, because why is my life made easy? Then just start tightening. Damn. Get that nice and snug down. That is both of our radiator hoses. Okay, I found an unopened full strength jug of coolant, just some universal. Gallon of purified water. Our tap water has a bunch of iron in it, so I don't want to rust out the inside of my motor. And an empty jug for mixing. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to take this empty jug. This will also turn into a mixing jug. I'm going to take this. We're going to add it and my buddy just showed up to work on some of his projects, but we're going to mix this shit half and half. If you're a real pro, you don't need a funnel. Alright, about that much. We'll just add this to these. I completely forgot to finish filming, mixing the coolant and putting the coolant in the truck because a buddy showed up. But I've got the hoses in and the coolant is bled. And the fans are working, the sensor works out great with just the super glue. So now I don't think I'm gonna do the onboard air. That's gonna need to be a completely separate video. But we've got the hoses done.